Hello, my friends. It is Thursday, which means it's my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys, and I am super excited about what we are going to be talking about today. Because, in my opinion, please let me know by the end of this training if you disagree or not, but this is where I thrive. Personally, as a business owner myself, or as a mentor to literally thousands of people across the world on a monthly basis, my absolute energy is built from helping other people plan strategically and really make data-driven decisions strategically. And that's why obviously me and EverBee mesh so well, because it's literally talking about how to take data and make decisions off of the data. So today we're not going to be talking about EverBee at all. Actually, we're really going to be talking about you guys. And I'm going to be going behind the scenes on exactly what I do in my business that has allowed me to not only hit, but greatly exceed my annual income goals every single year since 2022. And when I say greatly exceed, I mean this year alone, I had a very ridiculously large goal that I never in a million years would have thought that I would have hit. And I actually hit it in September because of the plan and the framework that we're going to spend time going over together today. And today, as of December 4th, I am $60,000 ahead of my 2025 goal. Again, because of this framework. So I hope that gets you as amped as I am, because I only share this with my one-on-one clients before 2025. So basically, October through December of the year itself. So usually in like 2024, for example, 2023, whatever, I am working with my one-on-one clients to go over exactly what we're going to talk about today on this live stream. So this is the first year ever that I have decided to expose myself. That sounds weird. To expose my framework and my plan and the actual things that I do on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever basis in my own business to guarantee results are hit. And I don't mean like you make these goals and you just hope for the best. I'm going to show you exactly how you are going to make the goals and make dang sure that they get hit. So I'm really excited to share with this today. If you guys can't tell, I'm obviously like very, very stoked about it. But before we dive into that today, I did want to let you guys know of a few things. First and foremost, I do have a freebie that I built for you guys if you decide to stay until the end of this live stream. I'm going to drop it in the description of this live stream after we are done going live. So what I don't want you to do is go to the description right now, because you're not going to be happy. It's not there yet. But I'm going to put it in there personally tomorrow around 11:30 Eastern. And I want to make sure that the people who are on this live stream are the first ones to get it. So please make sure that you are able to stay until the end of this training to experience all of the different stuff, which is then going to go into that freebie. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, have you guys ever heard of the company called Anywhere POD? I'll just wait a little bit. And no, I went like that, like I can hear y'all. I can't hear y'all. But let me know in the comments of this video, or let me know in the live chat. Have you guys heard of the company Anywhere POD? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Yes. Okay. Whatever. Nice. I'm seeing some come in. Fantastic. So some of you have no idea what that is, and that's totally fine, but it is one of the top contenders for print-on-demand suppliers. It is an incredible platform. I've been playing with it myself this week because we are going to have the owner, creator, founder, whatever you want to call him, Chris Meets, here as a guest next Thursday on our live stream. So December 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars for that, because you're going to want to come. We are going to be talking a lot about Anywhere POD, about the personalization features they have, about the AI mock-up situations that they use, or kind of like features that they use, and then multiple different ways that you can use Anywhere POD with your Etsy shop or with your EverBee store. And what's even crazier, I don't want to give too much away, but you actually have to pay. Let's say you have a Shopify account. You have to pay for Shopify, and then you also have to pay for the Anywhere POD like app itself. But because we are having him on our live stream, I am able to give you guys access to EverBee store for $29 a month, like it usually is. First, $1 for your first month. And then you're getting Anywhere POD with that. So there's no extra app fees, which is insane. I don't know how long that's going to last. So please make sure that you come next week to be notified as to how that's going to help you out, how to get that kind of like offer before it goes away. We are getting together next Thursday, December 11th. So just be on the lookout on our YouTube channel. Probably by like today or tomorrow, you should see the information for it go live on our YouTube channel, getting ready for next Thursday. Okay. So with that said, we've got a lot to talk about today. So I want to make sure that I can just dive straight into the good stuff. And I'm going to share my screen and go ahead and get started with how to reverse engineer a 6-figure year. I hope that's as fun for you guys as it is for me. I was like, it rhymed and I thought it was cool because I'm lame. But I'm super excited about this today. So as always, if you're new here or if you have been here multiple times, and you have any questions while I am going through any step of this, because I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a lot of information. And that's why I'm making sure this is a live stream that is available on replay. So you can always come back, pause me, restart me, whatever you want to do, because we are going to go through a lot of stuff today. And it's going to be a lot of work on your part, but trust me when I say the work is going to be so freaking worth it. And that's why I'm giving it to you now on December 4th, so that you basically have the rest of the month to do the work for January. So you're like hot and ready to go on January 1st. Okay. So with that said, if you have any questions, you know what to do. Drop them in the live chat or in the comments while we are going through this. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to focus on in order to guarantee that we hit our goals in 2026 actually has nothing to do with 2026 at all. We're going to start with what I like to call the reflection projection section. Say that 10 times fast. I had to like get through that, and I knew I was going to laugh at myself the first time I tried to say it, but this is the reflection time, and we're going to get into projection next. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do, and by the way, I'm going to give this to you guys. This is not the freebie. This is unrelated to the freebie, but I'm still going to give you guys this PDF so you don't have to write any of these questions down. I really just want you to thoughtfully and mindfully pay attention in this training. And then when it's time, you know exactly what to do. So don't worry, I'm going to give you this PDF. It's going to be in the description of this live stream. So you can go download that. You can, bring it up on your iPad and scribble notes on your screen. You can print it out, literally whatever you want to do. But you don't have to copy all of this down. Okay. So what we're going to do first is reflect on the prior year. So reflecting on the last 12 months. What made you happiest in your business? Was it a certain niche that you love designing in? Was it creating content? Because that's mine. Was it being able to do live streams like this? Because these things are never going away from me because I love them so much. So what made you happiest in your business over the past 12 months? Next up being what projects, clients, or customers, I forgot to put customers here, but projects, clients, or customers energized you throughout the year versus the ones that drained you. So let's say you had 3 different niches who you target audiences of people who you were targeting in your Etsy shop. And one of them just made you want to pull your freaking hair out. Like maybe they were too uppity. Maybe they needed too much from you. Maybe it was a consistently bad customer experience. Write all of those down. And then on the other side, if you really, really loved selling Comfort Colors t-shirts, but mugs didn't do jack for you in 25, write that down too. So what energized you versus what drained you this year? Lastly, what moments felt aligned and what moments felt heavy? So what we can mean here when I say moments, it could be legitimately an experience like with customer service. So let's say customer service in general completely felt heavy and it did not feel aligned with what you were doing. Let's say you started a new Etsy shop and you're doing digital products, and last year, I guess 2 years ago now, you were doing POD and then digital just felt too hard. It felt too heavy. It wasn't worth all the work that you put in. I want you to brain dump everything with no filters for the reflection section. Okay. Again, I'm going to go fast through these because I'm going to give you this PDF, but I want your brains to start going while we're thinking of these questions together. Okay. The next one is the projection section. I really can't say that well enough. So now that we have an idea of who and what we were last year. We're still in the year, obviously, but what we experienced, what we loved, what we hated, whatever, what we did, what we didn't do in 2025, it's time to also project for 26. So because of those things, looking forward, who do you want to become next year instead? What do you want to be known for? Who are those dream clients or customers? Maybe potentially based on past experiences. Maybe they were horrible or they were awesome. And you want to make sure that they're carried through or removed in 2026. And then what challenges do you want to help those ideal or dream clients or customers solve? Again, I want you to brain dump everything with no filters here, because the goal of the projection reflection section is to get a very clear vision of what you want to see happen in 2026. And these have to happen first, or else we cannot continue to build the rest of our plan. And that means we cannot continue to guarantee that our plan is going to be exceeded, hit and or exceeded. Okay. So again, I'm going to go really, really fast through all of this stuff, and I'll give you this PDF, but I really, really want your juices to start flowing on these questions, because it's going to set the foundation for everything else we do within this training. Okay. So the next step, I'm going to zoom out a little baby bit. The next step, once we go through the reflection projection section, is we're going to review our historicals. If you're not familiar with historicals is, it literally is just your 2025 data. So what numbers did you receive? What income, what revenue goals did you hit? How much money did you spend on advertising? You know, let's say meta ads, like whatever it is. That's what your historicals is. So you're just going back in time and seeing what you did over the 12 months. Quick little note I want to say here. If you did not have a business that was making money in 2025, historicals are obviously going to be very difficult to come by. So we can skip, I hate to say this because I really don't like it, but if we just have people who are in their first year and there's no numbers to play with, historicals can be skipped, and then we can go to the next part. But I am going to go over the historicals for everyone who did. Even if you made literally $1,000 this year, that's data, and we need to know that data. So what I want you to do is bring back that 2025 data so that we can understand what we want to keep, what we want to cut, or what we want to optimize further in 2026. So you want to go through your income or your sales or however you were keeping track of things revenue-wise, and I want you to look at these things. Again, like I said, going to give you this PDF. Which services or products, again, it depends on who you are as a person, as a business owner, and what you're selling. I sell both. I sell services and I sell products. I actually sell like 3 or 4 different things, but who are you and what do you sell? If you're quote unquote just an Etsy seller, you're selling products, right? But if you're an Etsy seller and an Etsy coach, you're doing services and products, right? So whoever you are, which services or products brought in the most revenue in all of 2025? And obviously we are still going through, we have a month left to go, but as of right now, December 4th, which ones brought in the most revenue? Then which offers / services / products, I don't want to keep saying the same thing over again, but hopefully you guys are getting it, were the most profitable and enjoyable. That's the biggest freaking piece I can put here, because if you don't like what you're doing, that doesn't, okay, maybe this is just me. I want to ask you guys, I'm going to ask you a legitimate question, and I want you to give me a truthful, honest answer, and I want you to pop it right in the live chat. If you are doing something you hate, will any, and I'm on my back up a little bit here, because I think there might be any amount of money, but will any amount of money make you like that job or act or whatever thing that you're doing more? I want you to legitimately think about that for a second. And I want you to answer honestly and truthfully in the live chat. I'm just going to give you guys a couple of seconds. I wish I had water. I just realized I don't have any and I'm dying of thirst. Nope. Nowhere to be found. Drop it in the live chat. I want to get your feedback here. And I want you guys who are watching this, who maybe is not, you're not putting it in the live chat, that's fine. But I want you guys to really look through the comments that people are popping in the live chat, or if someone obviously wants to pop in the comments of this video, because in my opinion, from experience, y'all, I have been paid a ridiculous amount of money that I would have never, ever imagined I would be paid for to do something that I used to hate. And now you cannot pay me enough. Like I'm not kidding. I told my husband this the other day. If I got paid $1 million a year for that, from that one client, to do the exact same thing that I was hating before and working with a really, really bad client, I wouldn't do it. I don't care. Like, there is not enough money in the world to make me as happy as me being happy makes me, right? So when I put what blankety blank 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 offers, products, services, whatever, were the most profitable, I also have plus enjoyable very intentionally because they don't always equal the same thing. And in my opinion, again, I could be so wrong here, but I've done this for 4 years straight and I've always exceeded my goal for 4 years straight now. So I think I'm onto something, but I believe that because I choose my services based on enjoyment and energy and things that I just like want to do, that's what makes them profitable. And it's not the other way around, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys agree with that. If that's something that you can see in yourself, maybe where like maybe you made a bunch of money selling crew necks this year, but you didn't really find it enjoyable. Of course, we enjoyed the money. Of course, we enjoyed the daily cha-chings, but like, did we really enjoy it? The journey, the experience, the workload? Like, I want to know from you guys, is that something that you agree with or don't agree with? Again, it's just my opinion, but that's where I'm at. So what offers were the most profitable and most enjoyable? We're going to write those down. Then I also want to think about which clients and customer types were easiest and most lucrative. So this kind of goes back into the exact same thing of profitable and enjoyable, right? Easiest and most lucrative. It's the exact same concept because, again, if you had that one customer type that was just a pain in your rear end all freaking year, or every single time you dealt with this person, maybe it was like, I hate to say this is really bad, but like it was moms or it was influencers. That sounds so bad when I say it like that, but that's my biggest problem customer is influencers, because sometimes they like to charge a lot of money for not a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to speak ill of them. I love all of them, but they are the most difficult to clients for me to work with. I will be fully transparent with you. So even though those are the most lucrative clients that I work with, they're not the easiest to work with. So who were those? Who were those clients or those customers that were easiest and most lucrative for you over the past 12 months? And then I want to start looking at the months and the quarters themselves. Which one of those, based on your historicals of 2025, did the best? You should, even though we're only, a week into December, you should have an idea of if Q4 is your biggest winner. And the way to do that, even though, we don't have the rest of the data for Christmas yet, obviously, is what is October plus November sales so far? What are you estimating for December? Does that number equal to, or is it equal to, or is it more than all the other quarters, less than whatever, all the quarters as well? So you should be able to see that Q4 is the highest or Q2 was the highest, etc. And based on what you sell, I want you to kind of make some conjectures as to why. So was it seasonal demand? So I'm just going to use my example again of when I work with influencers. So influencers obviously can work all year long, but they usually get paid heavier before sales seasons come on, because they're trying to the companies are trying to get as much content as possible early on, so that when they get it, their promotional thing in November and December, whatever, actually works. So I am actually paying my influencers in September and October the heaviest comparatively to what you guys might think be November or December, because those are the actual holiday months, the actual sales months. But we have to sell the content to the buyer and then they take the content and run with it, right? So thinking about that, like, was there seasonal demand? Did you do a certain marketing campaign push this year during Q2 that obviously gotten you more money, something of that nature? So I want you to really start thinking really hard about, when you're looking at your historicals, is there a reason why numbers went certain ways? If you cannot answer this question, that's not a bad thing. That's fine, because maybe you just never thought to look at it. The good news is we are going to do that going forward in 2026 together. So you might not know the answers to these, and that's fine. But when you start doing your 2027 planning, you are absolutely going to know how to do this. And it's going to be easy to go to because it's literally just recreating the exact thing that we're doing today. So if you don't know these answers, that's fine. I'm going to teach you how to find these answers guaranteed for all of 2026 and then be able to just replicate that process going forward. Okay. So I'm going to give you a quick little snippet of two different things. I tried my best to blur out as much as possible, but it doesn't look like I did my best. I just realized there's something on here that probably shouldn't be, but whatever. Y'all love me, right? We're just gonna, no judgment. Anyways, so here is a literal exact screenshot of a spreadsheet that I use for my income tracker on a literal daily basis in my business. And I've been using this since 2021. And like I said, it is the thing that guarantees I either hit or exceed. And when I say hit, I mean, this is literally only $321 in January, obviously. But then we exceeded pretty good in March, right? So what I'm seeing is, okay, I'm looking at the quarter. This is 25, right? So I'm looking back, I'm reviewing my historicals, and I can see that the quarter one was good. I definitely went over. But then I'm also seeing that these two services seem to be the winners during that period. They were consistently across the board every single month. I had a high variance. So I'll have my monthly goals right here. Again, it's blurred out, but I'll have my monthly goals right here. And then in my spreadsheet, I have the ability to basically select a client and then what service they bought from me, right? So anyway, so I do all of that myself. So all of these numbers that are in the plus or the positive are all numbers that I got above my monthly goal. So that's telling me that these two are things to look at for 2026, right? Moving on to the next thing. I'm also seeing, when I, just took some screenshots of my random stuff, was holy crap, October was amazing. Why? I need to answer. To be honest, I don't know. I have to do this myself too, because I'm starting my plan the exact same time you guys are starting. My 2026 planning literally starts next Monday on the 10th or whatever it is, the 8th. So I literally have it scheduled out all week next week. I'm doing a retreat with myself to do this exact planning that I'm teaching you guys today, right? So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is, what the heck happened in October? Something exceptional happened, but I don't really know just off the bat what it was, right? So what happened here? Can I replicate that again? Did the same thing happen in 2024? What is there a pattern here? This is just data, right? So we're just trying to find the patterns, and we're trying to understand what is working, what isn't working. So when I come here, I'm starting to see one-on-one coaching, for example, was negative, substantially negative in both November and December. Something went wrong there. The good news is I'm still beating my goals. So it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, I'm something is wrong here. I wonder what I could be doing differently. Did I not promote this right? Whatever it was. So we're just going to basically take those notes, and we are going to look at these things very unbiased and just see it as data, see it as numbers, and really start to notice patterns amongst each of them. Okay. So that's how we're going to do with the historicals. Next up is where you're going. So what we did a second ago was we had the reflection and projection section, right? So we went back in time, and then we thought of who we want to be going forward. Then what we did is we went into the data and we reviewed our historicals and what actually took place in 2025. Now it's time to, based off of those historicals, it's time to trim the fat, is what I like to say, and strengthen the winners. So you're going to start thinking about in this section what services, products, platforms maybe. So maybe you were never on EverBee store, but you want to be in 26. Maybe you were on Shopify and you want to get off because it cost you too much money, whatever it is. So what are those different things that you want to keep in 2026, again, based on data? So we're going to do the where you're going section next. Okay. So what I want you to do, and again, I'm going to give you this, so please don't get mad at me when I'm going too fast, but what we're going to do in the where you're going section is I want you to list out every 2025 service or product type that you did, plus the corresponding revenue. So I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like on my end in a second. But let's just say Comfort Colors t-shirts, you sold $5,000 worth of them, whatever. Let's say Etsy digital products, you sold $10,000 worth. Whatever it is, you're going to write those out and their corresponding revenue. And you can do this just like on a spreadsheet on your notes app. I don't care, but we're just going to write them down somewhere, right? What we also want to think about, because again, we're talking about profitable and enjoyable, is we're also going to add notes on the time or effort needed to get that number. So how long did it take you to make the $10,000 for digital products? Was it 10 hours of curating the items and then it just sold like hotcakes the rest of the year? If so, probably put that in the green, because that's a really, really good thing to potentially do going forward, as long as, of course, you enjoyed it. And then maybe the comfort colors things, you were just killing yourself all year because you had to stay on trends all the time and you weren't making evergreen stuff. So you put 40 hours a month into designing new things. That's going to be in the red, right? So figuring out any notes that you can try to remember on each of the individual products or service types that you did with the corresponding revenue. And again, you can see here, what I like to do with the green and red is high revenue and low effort means we should keep that in 2026, or we should scale it. We should do even more of that. And I'll tell you guys what that means in a second. However, if we got not low revenue, but it was really, really, really high effort, where it almost like wasn't even worth it on the revenue side, it might be time to consider cutting that out of 2026, right? So we're just going to take notes. We're going to jot all this down. We're going to brain dump into a spreadsheet, your notes app, literally a notebook, whatever you want to do, whatever's the easiest, because what we're doing here is just getting down to the bottom of what services or product types are not going to follow us into 2026, right? So that's going to be the whole purpose of this where you're going first little section. The last place here on the where you're going is I also want you to spend some time considering, again, based on the data of what we did in 2025, right? Your historicals, if you have them, of course. Are there any new income streams that you could possibly get into to diversify 2026 a little bit more? So a quick example here is, let's say you had an Etsy store that was crew necks and t-shirts, right? And those made you a buttload of money. And then you found like 4 niches that were just doing, or 4 target audiences, whatever, that were doing exceptionally well comparatively to maybe the other 20 that you were doing. So what can we do with those 4 niches? What can we do with those 4 target audiences to scale that success, that proof, that winning data that much more in 2026? So a quick example for that, if we think about we only had comfort colors and crew necks, what if we took those designs, and if you make them in AI, if you make them yourself, whatever, I don't care. We took those designs and we made a digital store out of them for other print-on-demand sellers to buy. Or maybe we took those designs and we popped them on other more profitable, because crew necks and t-shirts are not that profitable, let's be honest, but more profitable POD products. That is what I mean by like, what could 2026 look like based on good data from 25, okay? So that's where you're going. Here's a quick example as well for my own situation. Let me back up a little bit. And again, y'all know I do a little bit of both. So it might look a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. Mine is really, really based on services, but I have a few products as well. So for example, here, the highlight, this is for the whole year, by the way. So total actuals in 2025 and what was the variance for versus my goal for those services. So the highlighted services were my biggest revenue drivers in 2025. So I know for dang sure I am keeping those because something went well here, right? And I also have, let me see if I can, I'm going to open it up real fast. So all of these that have like negative, that's actually a positive variance. Ironically, it's just backwards in my spreadsheet, but that means that I almost went $100,000 over what my original goal was, because I think I just shot my goal really low, I guess, for UGC. And that means I'm absolutely moving forward. Same thing with social media marketing here. Same thing with this guy, which is actually a product that I sell, this $6,700. That means I was that much over what my original goal was. So knowing that, that means I know for dang sure those are coming with me into 2026. But I have the opportunity now to look at these guys and be like, do I really even want to do those? Like graphic design, I was off by $2,000. I don't really even enjoy that anymore. I usually outsource all of my graphics now to somebody else. So why would I even put this in 2026? Also, YouTube ads. My personal YouTube channel did not do well in 2025. Even though I put my best foot forward, it wasn't for me. And that's totally fine. But that was my goal for 25, was to get monetized by YouTube and start making some dang money from the ads, at least around, give or take 2 grand or so for the year. And I didn't. So now I know that either one of two things need to happen. Either I need to be better with YouTube and I need to be more intentional with YouTube next year on my own personal channel, to maybe bring that goal over to 2026, or I need to scrap it. Either way, because there is proof here that like the other highlighted things drove 90% of my income for 2025. So do I want to just keep doing those in 26? Do I want to add some more? That's what this where you're going like section, or what do you want to call it, like exercise, I guess, is going to do. That's what it's going to look like for me next week, is literally asking all of those questions to myself. Okay. So now that we've looked back, let me just zoom in a little bit. Now that we've looked back, we've been spending the first 30 minutes of this training together, not even really talking about 2026 at all. It was all about what we did in the past and getting the foundation for how we're going to move forward in the future, right? So now that we've looked back, it's time to project forward. So the first thing you're going to do with the actual next section of 2026 revenue goals is you're going to choose your growth target. So for example, a conservative target is at or around 3%. So as you can see here, like an example for 3% for 2025, if you made $75,000 in 25, your 3% conservative target would be $77,250, right? An ambitious one, and of course you can go much higher than this if you want, but a standard ambitious growth percentage growth target for most businesses is between 8 to 10% for the next year. So again, if your goal for 2025 was, or not your goal, sorry, your actual, right? Because I want to make that really clear, because you might have not hit your goals in 2025. So we don't want to add 3 to 8 to 10% onto that. We want to take your actual from 2025 and we want to add that 3% or 8 to 10%. And that's going to be this range right here, 2026 target of 77,250 to 82,500. So figure that out for yourself. It should be simple. It's just, which do you want to be on? Do you want to be a little bit more conservative? Do you want to go for gold and just be super ambitious? I'm really delusional, so I like to go for 10% personally. But because of this framework we're going through today, I have done 10% every single year since 2021. So you guys absolutely can too. Okay. So figure out what you want for yourself there. The next step of the 2026 revenue goals is a little crazy. So don't get mad at me. Don't go like, out there in the world, because I don't want you to hang up on me. It's just going to get, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be very open with and transparent with you guys. It's going to get a little overwhelming for a second, but you're going to have all of this after this call. You're going to have the ability to come back and press play and press start and press fast forward and press rewind. This is going to be such an incredible tool for you guys from experience. And I've also given this framework to hundreds of one-on-one clients who have all beat their goals as well. So this is not just a random thing. I'm not an anomaly is what I'm trying to get at, right? So this is going to be a little bit overwhelming for the next couple of minutes, but I hope you guys stay with me. If you are still with me, I want you to put yes in all caps in the chat right now, because I'm not going to click this button until I hear that people are ready to take this seriously, because this is where the guaranteed money for 2026 is going to come. Drop yes in all caps in the chat for me, or in the comments if you're watching this on replay. I want to know who is with me right here. Nice. Seeing a couple people come through saying they are stoked. So am I. Fantastic. Good. Okay. Awesome. Let's freaking do this. All right. So like I said, it's going to be a little overwhelming. Just stick with me, all right? We're going to open this up, and I'm going to show you the spreadsheet that is a little crazy. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do and why we're going to do it, okay? So the first step in the spreadsheet, and like I said, you guys are going to get access to this. All you have to do, by the way, you're going to get view access, I think. All you got to do is click File, and then make a copy. It'll tell you right here how to use. Literally just click File, make a copy, and then it'll open up in your own Google Sheets, okay? Super easy. Or you can do it in Excel, like if you're a what's it called? Microsoft girly. That's fine too. All right. So what we're going to do here is we are going to, oh, I just realized I didn't change this. 26. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up and really figure out, based on what we did in 2025, based on the data, the questions that we went through of the services, the projects, the products, whatever that we want to move forward with into 2026, we're going to start building out how to make it happen. And the first thing we're going to start with is this guy right here. So what is our total income goal? Let's go back to the original one. If I can I? One moment, please. Hope you guys can see what I see. Yes. Okay. So let's go back to this. So let's just say the new goal for next year is 77,250 based on your growth target. All right. So we're going to do that one together. Where am I at? Here we go. All right. So total income goal, 77,250. So we're going to pop that in, and you're going to see some things that are going to start to talk to each other here. So obviously in the bottom right-hand corner, this is now in the red because that is our variance. How much farther do we have to go to get to our income goal? We haven't started 2026, so we're obviously negative because it's still December of 25. Okay. So then what we're going to do is you can add as many of these as you want. By the way, I just have 4. So let's just say the first one is Etsy. Let's say the second one is EverBee store. Let's say the third one is coaching. I'm just going to make random things up for you guys. So let's say those are the 3 things that you decided to go through with, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this down here first and foremost, so that can go all the way down. And obviously you can put these in here too. Oh, I just realized, hold on, ignore me. It's supposed to go here. My bad. There we go. All right. So you can pop them in here. And then we're going to see Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? So what I like to do is take this number and very simply divide by 4 if you want, or we're going to go back into our historicals and we're going to notice that Q2 or Q3 or whatever it was a bigger quarter for us, right? That's why we did that fundamental foundational work first before we sorry, I'm getting very, very excited before we ever got here. And now you're able to build this out. So let's say Q3 was your biggest sales period for 25. Let's go ahead and just make that happen again. So let's say, I'm just going to make this, do some math real fast because I can't do it in my head. There we go. All right. So it's around $19,000 a month to hit. Is that right? Is that right? 19,312 times 4. Huh. The more you know. Anyways, so it's around $19,000 per quarter, not month, excuse me, per quarter in order to reach this goal. So then what we're going to do is do this divided by 3, right? So this is going to be our monthly goal to hit this, right? So we're just doing math. Hopefully you guys are still with me. So knowing that this is what we need on a monthly basis, knowing this is what we need on a quarterly basis, we can just go ahead and put that in. So let's put 19,312. And we're going to copy that over here. I don't know why this isn't adding. For some reason, it's not doing what it's supposed to. There we go. So that is going to, oh, that's why I realized. We'll show you in a second. So that's going to be across the board here for each of the quarters. However, if we want to go a little bit higher in Q3, let's just say 25,000, for example, then we come and just do a little bit of math. So Q3 was the biggest one for you. So then we're going to say basically 77,250 minus 25,000, right? Because we need to get to figure out what the other 3 quarters are going to be. So that leaves us with 52,250 for the rest of the year. Divide that baby by 3 quarters, 17,416. Okay, 17,416. Copy and paste. You guys will have access to this so you can do it yourself too. So that's what we're going to do on a quarterly basis. So now the question is, okay, how much are each of these going to be contributing to that? Again, that was the whole reason for the 2025 historicals, because we really needed to know what we did before or what we think we can do going forward. So let's say you did around 4,000. I'm going to try to make this easy as possible. 3,000 a quarter in 2025 for your Etsy shop, right? So we want to go up by around 10%, maybe a little bit more. So let's say we turn this into 3,500. Okay. So you're going to see 3,500 here, right? And then let's say we copy and paste that all the way forward. So now you're starting to see some numbers are changing, right? So this is showing us in total for all of these services, we are currently at 14,000. And if I do a little bit of math and I go, equals this minus this, you can start to see exactly how far off we are. so that we can figure out what we want to do for these. So with that said, let's say you want to make $5,000 a month because you did from your EverBee store. Copy and paste. And maybe, of course, you can build this one up a little bit more if you want to, because again, it's Q3, you made more money. Now you can see we have 43,250 left to go. So if I do 43,250 divided by 4, that's going to bring me down to 10,812. So I'm just going to say 11,000, right? So we copy that over. So this is just something that you're going to come up with on your own. I'm just going very, very quickly through this. But again, it is going to be based on the services that you want to move forward with, or what you did from your historicals from 2025. Hope that makes sense. So we're going to do that. We're going to build all that out. And then we're going to see that we are $750 above our actual income goal because we know exactly what we're going to be doing. Actuals are going to be the same thing. It's just going to be, what did you actually do? So by the time you're done and you are, the month is over, the quarter's over, whatever, you can come back in here and start filling this in. So let's say your goal was 35. Let's say you did 42. Awesome. Now that number is going to start changing. Okay. So you're going to start to see that variance go down as we start to make money. Let's say you made 5,100 in the first quarter in EverBee store. And let's say you only made 8,000 out of the 11,000 you originally wanted. Now we can see Q1 is off by around $116, and we have this much more to go for the rest of the year. So you need to take that number then and figure out, how do you make it happen for the remainder of the year? So anytime, if you ever experience a negative variation, you just have to take that number that you were behind on and apply it to the rest of the year. So that's something that will happen all year long, right? So let me go ahead and just get rid of these things. And then you can use this if you'd like, whenever you get the access to it. So the next thing we're going to do is really, it's where it gets a little crazy. So I hope you can stay with me. Again, I'm going to give you guys access to this so you can play with it. But all the formulas, theoretically speaking, should work for you. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this number, 77,250. And we're going to bring it over here into our annual goal. So basically on this spreadsheet, try not to touch anything that is white and green. Only touch the orange stuff is all I'm going to say. Okay. So let's go ahead and say we pop 77,250 in there. Once we do that, the formulas are going to start to get to work. So you're going to see again, that quarterly goal. We already know that. The monthly goal, we already know that. And then I also just like to have profit and taxes and expenses in here, but I don't know your expenses. So we're going to keep that blank. So we're just the only thing you're going to do on this spreadsheet so far is drop in that annual income goal for 2026 that you decided upon. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is bring those babies from here over there as well. So these three, for example, we're going to pop them right here and they should copy over. I don't know why it didn't go orange, but whatever. It should copy over as you see over here. The next thing we're going to do is what I like to call the ASP, or the average selling price. So what this means is on a given project or customer basis or client basis, whatever you do, how much are you getting from that person, from that service, from that client? This is where you got to get a little creative here, but let's say your average selling price per product on Etsy is around $42. Okay. EverBee store, let's say, same concept. Your average is around $36 per order. And then for coaching, let's say you charge each person that you coach $1,000, right? So I hope that makes sense. When I say average selling price, it should be what you charge for each of those individual service or product type based sales. Okay. Hope you guys are with me. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments and the live chat, whatever. I'll make sure to get to them as soon as I can. So we're going to drop that there. Then the last thing that we're going to do is figure out how much we want to spend our time, or how much of our income should be derived from these particular services. So let's say you want to do, you're just now brand new starting out your EverBee store. So let's say you only want to focus 10% of that for next year. So that means on a monthly basis, you need to make $643.75 from your EverBee store. Okay. Hope you guys are understanding where these formulas are coming in. The next thing is coaching. Let's say you want that to be 50%. That means you need to sell $3,200 worth of coaching packages on a monthly basis to hit 50% of your monthly goal. Okay. Hope you understand where all these numbers are coming from. Last but not least, it looks like we have about 40% left. So let's go ahead and just give that to Etsy. So you want this to equal 100% because that number is going to be that number. Okay. You guys with me? All making sense? Fantastic. The last piece of this is going to be the client or service or product frequency breakdown. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see this a little bit closer. So what I just did for you guys by giving you this spreadsheet, like I said, I only give this to my one-on-one clients up until now, and you guys are getting access to it today, is what I did here is I basically showed you exactly how many you need to sell of each individual thing in order to hit the goal that you decided upon. So the goal we decided upon was $77,250, right? And we know, if we scroll back up a little bit, we know that we want to focus 50% on coaching, 40% on Etsy, and 10% on EverBee store. So we have all those numbers right here, right? So these are our percentages. So this number right here is this number and the percentage. So how many on a monthly basis, how many Etsy sales on a monthly basis do I need to reach this number right here, 2575, knowing that my average selling price is 42 bucks? I need to make 61 Etsy sales on a monthly basis. And if I do, that will bring me to around $31,000 by the end of the year. Same thing here. How many sales in my EverBee store do I need to make to hit this $643 goal? I need to make 18 EverBee store sales on a monthly basis, bringing me to $7,700 for the year. Same thing here. Coaching. How many coaching packages on a monthly basis, knowing my average selling price of around $1,000, do I need to sell on a monthly basis to hit my goals? 3, right? So by the end of the year, these numbers, again, we only have 3 things here. Let's say we had more, that's fine. It's going to be the exact same concept, but these numbers should total out to be 77,250, which was our original goal from the beginning. So this is the exact framework that I personally used in my business for the past 4 years to not only hit, but guarantee that I exceed my income substantially, because, or my income goals substantially, because the numbers are telling a story. They know, I know exactly what I should be doing on any given day because of this telling me exactly what to do. Okay. So with that said, let's open up. I hope all of that made sense. I know there was a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to go ahead and open up where we were in the beginning. And again, like I said, you guys are going to get access to all of this. So please don't worry if we're going too fast. I just want to make sure we can try to get you guys out of here by 11 still and give you that freebie at the end. But for now, I hope all of that made sense and it made you excited to do it yourself, because that right there, that even though it was a little overwhelming and it was hard to explain, I'm not going to lie, it is the absolute reason that I've been able to hit and exceed my goals every year. Okay. So now that we have those, so we wrote all of those income goals for the year, we have data behind them. We know exactly how many sales in whatever category we have to get on a monthly basis. Now that we know those things and they're built out strategically, it's time to determine the ways that we are going to actually make those happen. This going forward, everything that we talk about for the next couple of minutes is how you're actually going to execute and guarantee those goals. So what we're going to do is the quarterly goals action steps section next. So here's how I want you to break it down. You're going to revisit your revenue goals per quarter. And again, that's going to be on that spreadsheet that you're going to have access to that we went over a second ago. So it should be very simple to be like 10,000, 15,000, 20, right? You're going to see all of those. Then I want you to think about if I need to sell, I don't remember the numbers obviously in front of me, but like if it was like 61 Etsy sales, 20 EverBee store sales, and 3 coaching clients, what do I need to do in the quarter 1, to make dang sure that happens. I want you to list every task that you could possibly imagine in order to do that. Do you need to cold call some people? That's a bad example, but you need to cold DM some people. Do you need to reach out to current coaching clients and see if they'd like to renew for Q1? Do you need to do 500 new Etsy listings to guarantee you get 61 sales? Do you need to run Etsy ads? Whatever it is, write those tasks down and then categorize them based on what you're doing. So is it content marketing? Is it internal business things that you have to do? Is it I can't think of another thing that we do in our business now. I don't know. Is it Etsy? Whatever it is, right? So categorize those for yourself. Make it really easy so that you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and under what category. Then I want you to assign due dates to those every quarter. And I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like. And then what you can do literally every single week of 2026 is to plan your week around exactly what truly moves the needle, because you already made this plan in 2025. Okay. So let me show you exactly what it looks like real fast. So this is a client of mine, one of my one-on-one clients. So the month's focus for her, for let's just say January right here, her income drivers and her heavy focuses for January were UGC, voice acting, creating her social media accounts because she didn't have any, and creating her email plan. So knowing that those were the most important things that we needed to do in Q1 in order to hit our Q1 goals, these are the things that she needs to do with corresponding chronological due dates, right? So what we're going to do is take the big income goal for the month and split it up into tangible action steps with corresponding due dates. I hope all that makes sense. So these are the categories, the types, like I said earlier. Here's the tasks she has to do, and there's the due dates. Then there's going to be I forgot to mention this. You're also going to be wanting to be 90 days ahead, the same way that we always talk about 90 days ahead of a holiday or something for Etsy. Do that in your business and you're going to succeed 10 times out of 10. So you should always be thinking or building 90 days ahead. So think about this. If you want to launch something in April, or if a holiday is coming up in May, you should be promoting and having your action items ready in January and February, or February and March, to plan for the things that are coming up in April and coming up in May. So that's what you're going to see here, is knowing that I have certain things. Let me see if I can scroll down here for a second. I'm going to skip that page for a second. So if you can see here, if we know that the income drivers for March for this student's business are UGC, voice acting, lead generation for an upcoming course she was selling, and Etsy, you can see now why all of these individual things are happening in those individual months leading up to and through March, because our income drivers for March were those things. So now we know what we need to be promoting, who we need to be promoting to, and where. Is it email? Is it Etsy messaging? Is it social media, etc.? Okay, I hope all of that makes sense. It is kind of coming together for you guys in your own business. All right. So I don't know how I did this, but in 52 minutes today, I was able to get through something that usually takes me 90 days to teach my one-on-one clients. This was obviously a very fast-paced, high-level version of what I usually do for my people. But I am excited that we were able to get through this as quickly as possible together today. I hope the way that I taught it was understandable. I hope the way that I taught it didn't just go right over your head and you hated the last 52 minutes of this. I really hope that you were able to get something out of this. You are excited about 2026. You're not scared, because you know that you're going to beat your goals now, because we did it together today. So if that is something that you are stoked about, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a yes or a hell yeah in the chat. That is what I came here to do for you guys today. So with that said, with my last couple of minutes today, I want to go ahead and show you guys the little freebie that I'm going to give you today. Like I said, be on the lookout for it soon. I'm going to drop it in the description here. So come back if it's not here whenever you're obviously watching the live. And it's going to be a dream business planner. This is just a little fun thing that I like to do for myself every year. It doesn't have anything to do with the stuff that we talked about earlier from this training, but it's just another thing that gets you even more excited and even more aligned with what's going to take place in 2026. So I'm going to open it up and you guys can see what you're going to get. 1 second. Let me close some things out. It's not going to be a Canva document, by the way. I'm going to give you guys an actual like PDF, but I just figured I would show it like in Canva itself. So it's super boring. There's nothing crazy beautiful about this. I didn't make it like super like pretty and there's no design to it. It's just really copy and paste. So this is yours and you can literally make this however you want. I'll go ahead and give you guys the template for Canva in case you want to spruce this up, print it out, whatever. And I'll also give you the PDF if you just want to keep it boring like mine is. But what we're going to do is I have a dream business prompt that I like to use every year that is going to literally build your dream business for you. And it can be something that you look at every day, every week, every month, every quarter, whatever, to be able to reflect as you're going through 2026 and confirm or deny if you are aligned with what you originally wanted to do for the year. Okay. So I have a dream business prompt. You're going to see it here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But this is something that we're going to drop into ChatGPT and it's going to give you your dream business idea or your dream business story. Okay. So we're going to create a goal and vision business plan for 2026. I want you, ChatGPT, to start asking me 10 questions one by one. After I answer the 10th question, please create the following for me: my dream business story, my business affirmation, and my top 5 business goals for 2025. My goal by the end of this exercise is to have a spreadsheet of habits that will actually let me do what I'm supposed to do in my business, a bingo card for monthly goals, and then all aligned with my overarching business goals for the year. And then you're going to see a part 1, part 2, and part 3. So I do recommend, if you decide to do this, if you decide to use this prompt, I do recommend setting aside at least an hour of your time, unadulterated time, unbothered time, that you can really focus on this and really get into the deep personal and business questions. Okay. Because if you shortchange yourself on this, you're going to get, it's garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you give to ChatGPT, he's going to give it back to you. So if you go in slow, if you go in low, he's going to, deliver the same, right? So I recommend having at least an hour completely dedicated to just utilizing this prompt and going back and forth with the AI system. Okay. Then once you do that, I've built this little kind of best year yet planner for you guys where you can drop your business story here that he's going to build for you. You're going to drop those 2026 goals here and your affirmation. And then I went ahead and it's super lame, but I just went ahead and built this little habit tracker for you. And you can copy and paste this. You can duplicate it, whatever you want to do. Again, if you want to print it out, it's totally up to you. But the goal here is based on the habits that ChatGPT told you should do in 2026 to hit that dream business story. You can pop all those here and then just say whether you did it or not. I wish I had mine that I can show you guys, but I don't have it on the screen. But I just did like a little red X or a little green check mark on these in Canva every day. Then I have these little bingo cards. This is something me and my husband did, and we freaking loved it. It was one of my favorite things we did in 2025 because it gave us like really fun stuff to do and like rewarding yourself along the way. Because I think what a lot of us do, and I was guilty of it before I started doing this 2 years ago, because I didn't start this thing until like 2024. But what we all seem to do and be kind of like guilty of is waiting until we hit the big goal to reward ourselves. But I like rewards all year long personally, because that keeps me motivated. That keeps me wanting to do things. That keeps me seeing that my plan is working. Things are in motion. Things are following the action steps that I'm putting in. I'm getting the rewards in the process. And it's not just that big one that I should be grateful for. So I like to make these little bingo cards that is like, let's just say one of is like make 10 Etsy sales. That could be one of them. And then let's say another one is make 5 EverBee store sales, like knowing that you have to make 30 of those for the year or for the month. Maybe you put that as a bingo title. Another one could be land a brand new coaching client that you've never had before. That could be a bingo square. And then down here, I like to get rewards for anything that I like rewards for everything personally, but I put for every space, for every space I get, for every bingo I get. So, if it's like straight away, diagonal, whatever. So every bingo, you also get blah, blah, blah. But for a full card, you get X. So theoretically speaking, your reward should go higher as you go through. So what I did, for example, was for every space I get, it was like $5 in my savings account, something like small like that. For every bingo, I get to treat myself to boba because I really love boba and I spend way too much money on it. So I was like, I'm only going to do this if I hit a bingo, right? So then I went and treated myself to a really fun boba drink. And then if I did a full card, I put $150 in my savings account, or I took that $150 and did a spa day or got my nails done or whatever it was. So figure out what that is for you guys, okay? I know we're running out of time, guys, so I'm going to stop right here, but I just wanted to really quickly show you what else you're going to get through this. If you don't mind, just bear with me for like another 60 seconds. So the last thing for your prompt is going to be a letter to me. And then right here, you can insert that letter to yourself right there. And that's, again, going to be what ChatGPT did whenever you answered all of his 10 questions of what's important to you, what's your goals for next year. You're going to be able to write a letter to yourself that you should be able to read. I can't wait to read mine. That you should be able to read on December 31st of 2026 and be like, hell yeah, I did that. I killed this year. I really, really showed out and I became a better person because of it, right? So that's what the letter to me is going to be. The last little bit, it's nothing crazy, but I just kind of put some extra things in here, again, for free, just to kind of figure out, like, if you are even where you want to be. We talked about alignment a lot on this call today. So if you didn't feel aligned with where you were in 2025, or like I said earlier, if you have not started your business and you're starting it in 2026, these kinds of things are going to be beneficial for you as well that I included. So defining your passion, how you want to niche down, who your target audience is, your value prop, your mission statement, vision statement, competitors, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And these daily reflection, weekly reflection, and monthly reflections are just things that I personally use to kind of like journal every night or every week, just to kind of get a recap of like, did I do what I was supposed to do? Am I on track? Am I still aligned with what I originally planned for 2026? If the answer is no, what can we do to fix it? You can literally go back through the entire training and redo everything mid-year next year if you want to, okay? So guys, I hope all of that made sense. I hope this was fun. I have a freaking blast every time I have the opportunity to gift this kind of stuff to the world. So I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this training today. It was so different than anything we've ever done before, but I'm more than happy to continue doing stuff like this if this is something that you got value out of. With that said, as I promised, I will go ahead right after I get off here. I'll go ahead and drop that little freebie in the description of this video, so make sure to go there next. And I'm also going to go ahead and have the PDF that we went through together today. And that's going to have all those questions that you need to answer for yourself. It's going to show you my examples, all that you need to make 2026 your best year ever. Okay. With that said, guys, I can't wait to see you next Thursday. I can't wait to hear from you guys if you dove into your 2026 business planning. And if there's anything that I can help you, obviously, while we're on our live chat next week. But I'm excited to bring Chris Meets from Anywhere POD to the chat next week. And I will see you guys next Thursday.